Get comfortable now.
Tonight, we are going somewhere far away. Far away in distance, far away in time. We are going to a city that was once the center of the known world. We are going to Rome. Ancient Rome. Not the Rome of battles and conquest. Those stories are for other nights. Tonight, we are simply going to live there for a while. We are going to walk its streets as the sun sets. We are going to hear its sounds. We are going to smell the evening air, warm and heavy with wood smoke and roasting meat, and the faint sweetness of flowers in the Forum gardens. And slowly, very slowly, you are going to drift away into a deep and peaceful sleep. There is nothing you need to do tonight, nothing to plan, nothing to worry about. Just this city, just this evening, just the quiet hum of a world that has long since turned to dust, but tonight lives again, just for you. It is late afternoon in Rome. The year is somewhere around 100 AD, the height of the empire, under the reign of the Emperor Trajan. The city is enormous. Nearly 1 million people live here, pressed together in a space that would seem impossibly crowded by modern standards. But right now, in this soft golden hour before the evening, the city is beginning its great daily transition. The markets are winding down. The Forum, that vast open plaza at the heart of Rome, is starting to empty. The merchants who have spent the day calling out their prices, their bargains, their fresh fish and foreign spices, are now wrapping up their stalls, folding their cloth awnings, counting their coins in the warm light. You are standing at the edge of the Forum now. Look at it. The great white columns of the temples rise against a sky that is turning the color of amber and rose. The Temple of Saturn, ancient even by Roman standards, stands to your left. Its columns are thick and worn, the stone slightly golden in this light. Pigeons, yes, there were pigeons even then, drift between the pediments, settling and resettling, as if they cannot quite decide where to sleep. To your right, the Basilica Julia stretches out in long colonnaded rows. Inside, the law courts have finished their business for the day. You can hear the last echoes of voices inside, the shuffle of sandals on marble floors, the creak of wooden benches, the low murmur of lawyers gathering their notes. The air smells of dust and sun-warmed stone. And beneath that, something cooking. Somewhere nearby, someone is frying onions in olive oil, and the smell drifts toward you like a gentle invitation. You begin to walk. The streets of Rome are narrow. Even the main roads, the ones paved with great flat stones of basalt, smooth and slightly rounded from decades of cartwheels, are barely wide enough for two people to walk side by side in comfort. The side streets are narrower still. Alleyways, really, pressing between buildings that loom 3 and 4 stories high on either side. The insulae, the apartment blocks where most Romans live, are tall and slightly precarious looking, their upper floors jutting out just a little over the street below, blocking the sky. Lines of laundry hang between windows. A woman leans out from a third-floor apartment and calls something down to the street, her voice sharp and cheerful. A dog trots past you, nose to the ground, following some invisible trail with tremendous focus. The stones beneath your feet are uneven and worn smooth. You step carefully. The sounds of the city are all around you now. Not the sounds of engines or machines. None of those exist here. The sounds are entirely human. Voices, dozens of them, layered on top of each other. The clang of a blacksmith still working somewhere around the corner, the ring of hammer on metal fading into the evening air. The high, clear note of a child singing somewhere above you, drifting down from one of the open windows. The thump and groan of cart wheels on stone, the delivery carts that are only allowed inside the city walls after dark, when the foot traffic is cleared. They are just beginning to arrive now, rolling in through the city gates, loaded with wine amphorae, grain sacks, building materials, firewood. The men driving them call out to each other across the darkening streets, jokes, complaints, directions. Their voices are rough and easy and comfortable. You walk on. You are hungry. Or at least, the city makes you feel as though you should be hungry, because everywhere around you, food is being prepared. Most Romans do not cook at home. The insulae, those tall, slightly wobbly apartment blocks, have no kitchens. Fire is too dangerous in such close quarters, in buildings where the walls are sometimes little more than wood and plaster. And so, Romans eat out. They eat at the Thermopolia. These are the fast food restaurants of the ancient world. Small storefronts with wide counters of stone, cut with circular holes into which large ceramic jars are fitted. The jars are called dolia, and they are full of lentil soup, thick and golden brown and fragrant with cumin, full of chickpeas stewed with herbs, full of a thick wine sauce with chunks of meat floating in it, pork, most likely, or lamb, slow cooked until it falls apart at the touch. There is bread on the counter, round, flat loaves of it, scored across the top in segments so they can be broken easily. The bread is still warm. You can feel the heat of it from where you stand. The man behind the counter, broad-shouldered, with a permanently red face from years of working over a fire, ladles something into a small earthenware bowl and passes it across to a woman who is leaning against the counter, one hand resting on the hip of her young child, who is pressed against her side, looking up at the dolia with enormous eyes. She takes the bowl. She tears off a piece of bread. She breaks a smaller piece and hands it to the child without looking down. The child takes it without a word. They eat standing up, right there at the counter, because there is nowhere to sit. This is how most Romans eat, standing at the counter, or walking, or leaning against a sun-warmed wall somewhere nearby. You order the lentil soup. The man ladles it out for you. You wrap your hands around the warm bowl and breathe in the steam. Cumin, a little pepper, something herbal that you cannot quite name, but that smells like comfort itself. You eat slowly. The city moves around you. You are invisible here. Just another person at the counter, eating their evening meal as the sky above the buildings turns a deeper shade of rose. After the food, you drift. You follow the sounds and smells through the narrowing streets until you find it. The bathhouse. There are hundreds of them in Rome, from the enormous imperial thermae, vast complexes that could hold thousands of bathers at once, to the small neighborhood baths on every block. You push open a wooden door. The air that hits you is warm and faintly steamy, even out here in the entrance hall. Inside, you pay a small coin to the attendant, an old man with a remarkably peaceful face who hands you a linen towel without looking up from the wooden block he has been carving for what appears to be several years. The baths are divided into rooms, each warmer than the last. The apoditerium first, the changing room. Stone benches line the walls. Small alcoves are cut into the stone for leaving clothes and belongings. You undress slowly. The room smells of warm stone and the faint ghost of other people's olive oil. The Romans used oil instead of soap, rubbing it onto their skin and then scraping it off with a curved metal tool called a strigil. From here, you move into the tepidarium, the warm room. The temperature is gentle here. Not hot, not cold, just warm. Pleasantly, exactly warm. The floor is heated from below. The Romans discovered sometime in the 2nd century BC that you could run hot air through channels beneath the floor, through hollow tiles in the walls, and heat an entire room from within. The hypercaust system, they called it. You stand on that warm floor now and feel the heat rising through the soles of your feet, traveling slowly up through your legs, settling somewhere in the center of your chest like a slow, comfortable sigh. Other bathers move around you. Not many, it is evening now, and the busiest hours of the afternoon have passed. A few men sit on the edges of the plunge pool, legs dangling in the water, talking in low voices. 2 women on the far side of the room have their eyes closed, their backs against the warm stone wall, their faces perfectly still. The sound of water dripping somewhere. The sound of those low voices, too far away to make out the words. The sound of your own breathing, slow and even. You move deeper into the baths, into the caldarium now, the hot room. The steam is thicker here. You can feel it on your face, in your lungs, warm and damp and strangely soft. The plunge pool in this room is filled with hot water, steam rising from its surface in slow curls. You lower yourself in. The heat wraps around you completely. Every muscle you didn't know was tense begins, very slowly, to release. Your shoulders drop. Your jaw unclenches. The small, persistent knot between your shoulder blades dissolves. You lean your head back against the stone edge of the pool. You look up. The ceiling above you is vaulted, a great curved dome of brick and plaster, its surface softened by years of steam into something almost organic-looking. Light comes from high windows cut into the dome. The evening light, now deep gold and fading toward amber. It falls through the steam in long diagonal shafts. You close your eyes. You dress again in the entrance hall. The old man at the door is still carving his wooden block. You step out into the street. It is darker now. The sun has set behind the hills, the 7 hills of Rome, rising all around the great bowl of the city. The sky above the rooflines is a deep, luminous blue, the first stars just beginning to appear. The streets are lit, barely. Oil lamps hang outside some of the wealthier shops and homes. Torches are fixed to iron brackets at some of the corners. But between these pools of warm light, the streets are genuinely dark. Dark in a way that seems strange to modern eyes. The darkness between the lampposts is soft, velvety, not threatening, just real, true darkness. You walk through it easily. Your eyes adjust. The stones beneath your feet glow faintly in the starlight. The city sounds are changing now. The voices are fewer. The children have been called in. The last merchants have packed up and gone home. What remains is quieter, more personal. From open windows above you, the sounds of domestic life drift down. Someone laughing at something, a deep, satisfied laugh. Someone playing a small stringed instrument, notes picked out slowly, wandering like a river. Someone arguing in low, urgent tones, too quiet to hear the words, just the rise and fall of emotion. And then, above all of it, the steady drip and splash of water. There are hundreds of fountains in Rome. At almost every corner, carved stone basins fed by aqueducts, those impossible engineering marvels that carry fresh water from the hills outside the city into its heart by gravity alone. The water flows constantly, day and night, winter and summer. It fills the spaces between human sound like a second, quieter heartbeat. You find the building where you are staying, an insula, 5 stories tall. The ground floor is shops, a cobbler, a baker, a lamp seller. The upper floors are apartments. Yours is on the 3rd floor. You climb the stairs, wooden, steep, uneven, worn smooth in the center from thousands of footsteps. The building smells of cooking, plaster, wood, and old laundry, of oil in your small clay lamp. Your apartment is simple. 1 main room, a low ceiling, a window with wooden shutters instead of glass, a small sleeping space behind a curtain, a table, 2 stools, a water jar. That is all. You set the lamp down. A small, warm circle of light appears. Everything beyond it falls into shadow. You lean out the window. Below, a cart passes slowly through the street, the driver half asleep, the ox steady and patient, knowing the route better than anyone. Above, the sky is full of stars. Rome does not hide them. The Milky Way stretches across the heavens. Via Lactea, the Romans called it, the Milk Road. You watch it for a moment. Then you close the shutters. The sound of the city becomes distant, muffled. The fountain still drips somewhere far below. A dog barks once, then stops. A faint voice drifts through a wall and disappears. You draw the curtain around your bed. A wooden frame, ropes stretched across it, a wool mattress shaped by time, a blanket already warm from earlier nights. You lie down. The ropes beneath you flex slightly. The bed remembers your weight. The room becomes smaller, quieter. The lamp outside the curtain glows faintly through the fabric. Slowly, the light fades. and Rome continues breathing outside your walls. The lamp in the outer room has burned down. The darkness is complete now. Not frightening, just full. Rich and dark and thick as the wool blanket above you. You breathe slowly. The mattress has shaped itself around you. The ropes barely creak. In the building around you, other people are sleeping. You can hear them sometimes, not their snores exactly, but the presence of them. The building settling around its sleeping inhabitants. A child shifts somewhere above. A faint sound of movement in a neighboring room. The slow drip of water somewhere in the walls. The city's water systems running endlessly through stone and clay, always moving, always alive. You think for a moment about how many millions of nights this city will contain, how many people, across centuries, will lie in rooms like this, listening to fountains, watching the same stars, pulling blankets over themselves and letting the day dissolve. Merchants, senators, slaves, soldiers, mothers, old men who have forgotten how to sleep deeply, and children who fall asleep instantly without understanding why. All of them, night after night, this city breathing, this city sleeping. You are one small, warm point of consciousness in the middle of it. One small human presence in an enormous, flowing river of lives. It is a comforting thought. You are not alone in this. You have never been alone in this. Every night that has ever existed, someone has lain down exactly as you are lying now, has breathed exactly as you are breathing, has let go of the day exactly as you are letting go. And the world continued, and the sun rose again, and the fountains ran, and the bread was baked, and the city went on. You are drifting now. The mattress and the ropes and the wool blanket begin to dissolve around you. The sounds of Rome are very far away. Only water remains, the steady sound of water, the fountains, the aqueducts, that impossible river flowing always from the hills into the heart of the world. You follow it in your mind now, away from the city, away from the streets and the voices and the stone and the lamps. Along the aqueduct, great arches stretching across the countryside, each one perfectly placed, carrying water high above fields and roads. You travel beside it, weightless, silent. Fields of grain stretch out below in soft gold waves. Vineyards climb gentle hills. Olive trees stand twisted and ancient, their leaves silver in the fading light. A farmhouse glows in the distance. The sky opens wider and wider the farther you go. Stars become clearer, colder, closer in feeling, though still infinitely far away. You are moving toward the source, toward the spring in the hills, where water rises from deep stone, cold, clear, ancient, older than cities, older than names, older than Rome itself. It rises still, even here, even now, and you follow it, further, further, until even movement becomes quiet, until even thought becomes soft, until there is only breathing, in and out, in and out. Sleep deep, sleep well. Rome is still there, far behind you, still breathing in the dark.